Shahrukh Khan is one of Bollywood's biggest superstars. Time magazine says his fan following is in the billions, while Forbes estimates his net worth makes him one of the richest men in the world. With a film career spanning more than 20 years, many describe him as the Brad Pitt of Indian cinema. Shahrukh Khan was here in Australia to promote the Indian film industry. Shahrukh Khan, welcome to Australia.
Thank you, Del. Thank you very much for having me on your show.
So, Shahrukh, you are known popularly as King Khan. Can you tell us how that came about?
I don't know, maybe it's got to do with the film I did, which was called Badshah. And I think it's just a smart literary alliteration where my name is Khan, so they didn't know. Instead of calling me Kangaroo Khan, I think they decided to call me King Khan.
And King Khan's often associated with King of Bollywood as well.
Yeah, then there was a book actually by a lady called Anupama Chopra, who's a reviewist and has written a book on Sholay and Dilwale. She's also a literary figure, modern literary figure, and she kind of wrote a book called King of Bollywood, and I think it was more to do with the film called Badshah, which means king, and I think it just kind of carried on from there.
Now let's talk a little bit about Bollywood, because you know a lot of our viewers may not be familiar with Bollywood. What makes it so special or unique?
I think first it's a 100-year-old industry. I think this year it turned 100 years. I think one of the earliest film industries in the world to start off with. I think the Lumiere brothers showed the second or third viewing of films was in Mumbai. Very few people know that. And since then, you know, we've had this culture of actually a huge international tie-ups, even during that time, to make movies in Mumbai and in India. And it's carried on the tradition. I think right now what the USP is, of course, the fact that technologically it's all there. You have more than a maximum number of films made in a country, in a world, about 1,000 films in different languages. But apart from all that, I think we are still in the mode of musicals, you know, which died off in the West in the 60s, or maybe even in Australia and New Zealand. But we still make musicals, which I think is very interesting, different. And it has evolved. The musicals have evolved from the time of big showcasing. It still goes on like that in some films, but now it is becoming more background. But the music forms a integral part, like, you know, it's not just music from albums. Special music is produced for films, and now with A.R. Rahman getting the Oscar, and you know, so many of our Indian singers kind of crossing over, it's becoming more and more understandable by people why we make musicals, because I think in India every second house or every first house has someone who can sing a bit, you know. So I think music forms an important part in our films, and they're very colorful. I think there are two very clear demarcations as the kind of films we make. One is the serious, you know, character-driven or story-driven or serious cinema, what is called parallel in India. And the other is, you know, what I think is like the variety show or the cabaret, where you have everything put in together, because India is so diverse, 1.2 billion people, not extremely rich in some places. So when people go to watch a film, they like to think of it as an event for the whole family for the whole year. You know, so the grandmother also goes, and the great-grandson also goes. So you got to make a film which kind of includes an interest for everyone. So you need to have a little bit of action, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of fights, a little bit of song, a little bit of crying, a little bit of happiness, and a big climax. So it kind of is like a cabaret variety show, which is the commercial part of cinema. And somewhere now the twain is meeting, and we are getting cinema which I think is internationally relevant. And I think there's a huge amount of diaspora, Indian, subcontinental, even a lot of places from Southeast Asia like Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, where people, and UAE, where people are taking on to the Indian cinema because of the, perhaps the similarity in culture. Or,
but you know, there is this perception, you were talking about it being a cabaret style, and there is this perception that Bollywood is just sort of all just song and dance and love stories. Is there more to it than that?
I think so. I think it's just easier to define. Yeah, of course, that's what comes up in front. Those are the big commercial films, whether they're the South Indian films or the Hindi films. You know, it's like us saying American cinema is all about superheroes. You know, it's like that. You like those films. You see them, Iron Man and Batman and Superman and, you know, what have you, especially in the last 5-7 years, or Avatar. So you can say that, but I think behind all that there is this very interesting cinema being made by a lot of youngsters, a lot of old people. You know, we are the country which has Mr. Satyajit Ray, you know, and Shyam Benegal and Adur Gopalakrishnan, and Meera Nair and Gurinder Chadha have gone from here. So you have very serious filmmakers. I mean, perhaps some of the most serious filmmakers in the world who are making films in India. But you don't get to see that unless, you know, you're a avid watcher of world cinema. You'll see them. So yeah, on the face of it, the packaging is very cabaret and singing and dancing, and it's easy to describe it I mean, now you have a term called Bollywood in the dictionary. You know, it's just been defined as Bollywood. But I think it does include, the umbrella includes a lot more than just what you see in the kind of films perhaps I act in, or you know, what is known as the popular cinema.
What is the difference between Bollywood and Hollywood?
I think one very large one is that we still make films like, you know, like Chicago is like an Indian film. Yeah, that's the kind of films we still make. But I think the major difference is in the way the screenplay is done, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, if you're asking technically. Also, they're much longer. You know, like I said, you need to have a whole family coming watching. Our films are longer. 25 minutes goes for the 5 songs, you know. So you have normally a 2-hour film, or a little less than 2 hours in Hollywood. Our films are more than 2 hours long. And I think the major difference is, according to me, you know, it's a developing nation, or on the threshold of huge development. Somewhere down the line, the fantasies and escapism that we offer in our cinema are a little more real. You know, it's like getting a job, or buying a car, or settling down with your wife and children and having a happy ever after household. They are not very fantastic. Our escapist plots are not very fantastic. We don't yet go and blow up the meteor which is going to hit the earth. We don't have superheroes as yet. Heroes are superheroes. You know, a guy who can just kind of fight against the system. It's deep rooted in what the society is going through. It's not completely, how do I say, imaginative. It's still real imagination. The escapism is a little real as yet. Very simple, small things which developed nations would take for granted, we take for as a thing that you would like to you know, acquire. It's awe-inspiring still to have a big house and a nice car and a good way to live. I was in Germany, and I met these ladies who kind of first initiated Indian films in Germany. They started with my films, and one night we were sitting and chatting at 2 a.m. in the night, and I asked them, how does this cinema differ? Why do you like it? So they told me something which was very interesting, that, you know, we have a button for everything in Germany. We have an escalator, we go up. We have a car, it just starts on a button. We have a coffee grinder, it works like this. We don't have a button for crying and feeling emotions. Indian films provide us with that button. You put it on, put on the VCR, you know, say play, and you feel emotional, you feel connected. There's a lot of warmth, there's a lot of color, the familial values which we still portray in a big, larger-than-life way. So yeah, it kind of takes you back to your roots, culture, and I think that's why a lot of people are beginning to, in this fast-paced world with internet and things going too fast, I think sometimes you say, you know, look back and think of all the good things, granddad, you know, a house in the countryside, happiness, and, you know, why don't we sing and dance a little in our families anymore? So I think that's the difference.
Is that what you love about being a Bollywood star? Is that one of the great things about getting to act in the Indian film industry?
I trained in English theatre, so I was a little averse to, you know, when I started off, I'd 100% say that I didn't look down upon it. I found it awkward to just break out into a song and dance. I thought I'd be a serious actor. And
but you're a brilliant dancer.
I am not actually. I'm not. You know, I was working with my actress friend Amrita, and she told me, if you can't dance, just look as if you're happy in dancing. So I have done that all my life. I have a lot of, who's a good dancers? Madhuri and Rani are good dancers, and they help me a lot. You know, when I'm doing a film. So I used to find it awkward to begin with, but then I suddenly realized as an actor that, you know, given the right kind of a film character and motivation and, you know, what have you, it's perhaps easier than just going into a more unnatural space and trying to make it look as real as possible, like, you know, suddenly sitting in a garden and dancing with 200 people behind you. And now I enjoy it a lot. I find it, how do you say, more challenging to take a popular film and try to make it work for everyone, you know. There should be a serious storyline running, and, you know, there should be enough infractions, enough situations that people think, oh, I'm going to be riveted by this film. But suddenly you have a song and dance too, you know, which is completely out of character or motivation. So I enjoy it now a lot. In the last 22 years, I've been doing it for 22 years. First couple of years, yes, I had an issue, and perhaps that's why I think I got accepted, because I did it a little differently. You know, I was a little awkward at it. I had to convince myself to do it. So I did it a little differently. I just didn't break down into a dance and singing routine. I would try to, you know, give some logic to it. And something I think just fitted for people to think, okay, this is a new way of doing it.
Well, it always looks like you're having fun. So I think
I always have fun.
Key,
Yeah,
you know.
I have to have fun. Either that, or I need to be drinking.
Now, your latest movie, Chennai Express, just smashed box office records again. What's the key to your success? How do you keep doing it? 22 years, still going strong.
I don't know. I always say when you're successful, you lose two of the abilities. That one is the ability to fail and the ability to surprise. Now I get more surprised myself that, you know, I think there are people who've seen my work for 22 years. I think they somehow own me. They kind of feel, I'd like to believe this, that, you know, a lot of them think, okay, it's our guy, you know, he's been there for 22 years. I meet ladies who've got kids now and they'll say, you know, I used to love you when I was in school. Then I meet these grandmoms who say, you know, when I was having my first child, I told my husband. I meet these little girls who said, you know, my mommy loves you a lot and, you know, she's told me I should watch your film. So I think there is a kind of an attachment personally to me. Apart from that, what I try and do is, I keep it very simple. You know, I like a story, I make it, you know, I do one film at a time, maybe 2 in a year maximum. I'm like, okay, let me do a comedic film. Let me try something which is completely out of the box, like Ravan, which is a superhero. My kids are grown up, so I'm like, you know, I'm going to do a superhero film now. So I've tried to keep it simple and different, and I enjoy the film. And I think the enjoyment that I have kind of transcends and goes across from the screen.
Do you have any genres that you enjoy more, that you like working with?
I used to like action a lot. You know, I like action. I've got this very clear-cut ideology of wearing a white T-shirt or a white vest with blood, high speed, girl in my side and a gun in my hand. You know, I just want to do films like that. When I was growing up, I was like, yeah, that's it. And I don't speak. I open the door and just shoot. This is hello, John. That's it. And then I kiss the girl. So that's what I wanted to do all my life. But they never cast me in films like that. So a couple of films, Dawn, and then there was another one where I was wearing a black T-shirt and a girl by my side.
All right.
I was like really thrilled. I was really thrilled. Even doing shooting Chennai, there's a shot where I'm wearing a white T-shirt and Deepika's here, and it's a love pose. And I asked the director, because he's an action director, Rohit, I said, can I have a gun? Just for me, just one. I want this one poster. But I enjoy action. Sometimes now I enjoy what I think my kids would like. So I did a film like Ravan. Sometimes I do a film which is, you know, like was on autism. My Name is Khan. Or Chak De.
Yeah, let's talk about My Name is Khan, because that was a really interesting movie. It was about autism. It was also about racial profiling. What was it like for you to work on a film like that?
See, I don't give a film more importance than it being a film that should just appeal to you as an entertainer or helps you take back home something more than just an empty pack of popcorn. You know, you're thinking, okay, this is nice, I thought about it. You don't have to be more serious than that. But I like the whole idea as an actor first. To me, that most appealing part was, I'm going to be doing something which is a little binding. One, in no which way can I portray it wrong. You know, it's an ailment or a challenging situation for any person who's got autism. And second part, that I cannot in any which way, you know, do it in a way that you laugh at it and still say a very serious thing. And for me as an actor, it was taking away from everything commercial or popular that I've done. There's no singing and dancing. There's no saying the romantic dialogues in a way because he can't really speak. There's no looking deep into the girl's eyes and say, I love you, because he doesn't even look at anyone. So for me, that was very challenging. And behind that, the layer of, apart from as an actor, I think the layer of talking about perhaps being Muslim myself, having seen or reading about the world, whether it's right or wrong, I don't know, from my limited knowledge, I just felt, you know, there is a whole idea now that, you know, every Muslim perhaps is involved with terrorism. And that needs to be cleared. And not just the Muslims, I think the aspect of the religion, that is one of the most peaceful religions in the world, like any other. It's no different from Christianity or Buddhism or, you know, any other. All religions are the same. And why is suddenly it becoming talked about? And I thought if this film could even somehow, you know, portray it to the West mostly. It wasn't like a political statement. It wasn't something that I felt extremely agitated about and I needed to do. But I just felt, you know, as a Muslim myself and as a, I think, regular citizen of the world, like all of us are, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, a few people do a few wrong things, then you cannot hold the whole community responsible or look down upon it. So I thought if that purpose got sorted, I don't know if it did or not. I don't think films change the world. But to me, it was something a little satisfying, more satisfying than just a regular commercial hit.
What about, I mean, you've had so many achievements in the last 22 years. One of them, one of your movies, earlier movies, Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge, was in cinemas for 10 years.
19 years. It's still running.
19 years, there you go.
Yeah, I was going to correct you earlier, but 19 years, yeah. It's still running.
What does that feel like for you, especially when you sit back and you look at it? And
it's shocking. We made that film, you know, we were all young. Karan Johar, who was an assistant director, Aditya Chopra. It's the first film for all of them. And a lot of firsts in that film, and you know, we just shot it. It was just a film we shot in about 40-50 days, just having fun, 4 or 5 kids. And it was funny because it was our humor that time. It was sweet because, you know, we used to pack up, come back to the hotel and just play Scrabble or categories, and we never thought we were making a special film. I think that's what makes a film special, when you're really having fun doing it. And all of us were younger, and all of us were kind of doing our first, second, third film. And a lot of the seniors were like, what are you guys doing? This is not how a film is made. Just one shot you're taking, the song is going to be like this. Why aren't there so many dancers? And we were just having fun doing the film, and we released it, and it became a huge hit.
Would you say that was a game changer for you in your career?
Oh, 100%. I think it was a game changer for some of the most prominent filmmakers in the country today. Karan Johar became Karan Johar because of that. Aditya Chopra, Kajol, myself, huge Philip. I think who I am today gets defined by that film. And it's I think, the second longest running film in the world after one Chinese film which ran for 25 years. And just about a month and a half back, I went to the theatre where it was released first. And it's still running. And the projectionist is 20 years older now. And he said, I was much younger when we did. I see this film every day. And I'm like, how does it feel to see it every day? He said, it's quite nice. And
how does it feel for you to see it now?
It was very, it was amazingly nostalgic. And I called up everyone from the manager's room. I said, and then I went to the projection room and I took a picture while it was playing. And I called up the director, everyone, and I said, I'm watching the film again and it still looks really cool here. And it's a strange thing that it's opposite a railway station. The VT railway station, I think, in Mumbai. And what happens is that people who come as tourists to Mumbai, they finish off everything and they have to go back home. I think the train is in the afternoon. So early morning, they check out of the hotels with their bags and they come for that morning show. They sit down, watch the movie, take their bags and go across and go back to wherever they're coming from in India. So it's the last part of seeing Mumbai kind of a thing. So it's very humbling, and it's extremely... I don't know, it's extremely gracious of people for having seen this film for so many years.
Do you have a favorite movie?
Mine is always the next one. I like them all. When I'm working on them, I say they're like my children. So to me, each kid is very beautiful. The one which doesn't do well, even more beautiful. But yeah, the next one is always the next one.
So, I mean, apart from being an actor, do you have plans to move into production? Any plans for Hollywood?
We have a production house called Richest, where we've made about 10, 12 films. Like the last film was made by us. So I produce a few films. I produce films which nobody else wants to produce. Either they're too expensive or too offbeat. So I've done 12 of them already for the last 10 years. I have my life's dream is to create something like Vita actually, or Industrial Light and Magic, though I'm very, very far from it. So I have a small VFX unit, which is growing now. So we've done some great work in the last 10, 12 years. These two things I really cherish. I like making films, I like the VFX part of it. Besides that, no, I mean, I have a cricket team where a lot of Australians
I want to talk to you about the cricket team.
But I cherish the whole VFX thing. And I don't know about production. Yes, we make films in India, but I'm a big believer that I should make a typical Indian film, maybe dress it up in the screenplay sense, like the West likes, and then hopefully one day be part of a film, not only as an actor, as a producer, as whatever, which kind of the whole world watches, something like Life is Beautiful, or a local film which the world embraces. That would be really stunning for Indian cinema.
We're starting to run out of time, but I do want to talk to you about your cricket team. I understand that you have a few Australian cricketers on there.
Yeah, Brett Lee is there. He's going to come and see me now.
Yeah, he's a good friend.
And he sings Hindi songs. He's an amazing singer.
Is he going to star in any of your films anytime soon?
Oh, I keep telling him, I keep joking with him that if he doesn't take 10 wickets, he has to come and start singing and dancing in the films. And he's so happy to do it. You can make him sing all night, and he's genuinely the greatest bowler the world has ever seen.
Your IPL team, Kolkata Knight Riders, won last year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What was the secret to the success? Surely it was the Australians.
100%, all these guys. Actually, to be really honest, I remember Ricky Ponting starting off with us. He was the mentor and the captain to begin with Saurav. And on and off, we've had Haddon's been playing, and David Hussey, and really nice guys, Hodge, Brad Hodge. And they're fantastic guys. We have the youngster now, but he got injured. Patterson, but he got injured, so he was laid off last year. But we really, really like the way that community is formed, the way they're so friendly. I think Australians are extremely warm and friendly, and they laugh a lot. And they take...
And they're great cricketers. They add a lot to your team.
They're great cricketers. Yeah. And what happens is, for us, most of the Australian guys, actually all of them, create an atmosphere in the, I'm an actor, so I keep calling it a green room, in the changing rooms, where, the Indians after a loss, suddenly learn professionalism from them. You know, that, you know, it's okay, let's forget the last game. They help the youngsters. So I think one of the core part of our KKR victory, plus the 4 years that we lost badly, the fact that we all remained together, was some of these great Australian cricketers and friends, and they're all very close to me. And I think they did a lot for the team. So I'm extremely grateful and happy that they're with us.
That's just great to hear. And look, I can't let you go. I've got Shahrukh Khan in the room. You, like I said, you know, your dance routines are just world famous. Can you show us? Can you show us?
No, I don't know how to dance. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. The new song is it's a Punjabi song.
Okay.
So it goes something like, it's like lungi dance, lungi dance, lungi dance, lungi dance. Very good. Very good. And then turn around.
Oh, lovely. A bit of hip
And back
shaking.
to this one. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. Lungi dance, 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 lungi dance. That's it.
Oh, wonderful. Thank
Now
you
you're
so
a
much
Bollywood
for your
actress.
time.
Thank you,
Such a
thank you.
pleasure.
Bless you.
Thank you.
very
Such
much.
a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much.